Surprise! This week I'm filming 3 videos instead of just 1 or even 2. So talk about an awesome surprise this week. Well, unless you don't like my videos, then it is not an awesome surprise. And for that, I'm sorry. Not sorry? Okay, I'm Amanda, and I run the blog Matron Fangirl, where I review different television episodes every week. So this week, I have reviewed the crossover episode between Bones and Sleepy Hollow, as well as the episode Nimue from Once Upon a Time. Now I'm going to be reviewing the episode called Nanny Dearest from Criminal Minds. Now this episode definitely resonated with me because, well, before I get into that, basically, there's been this unsub that has been killing women once a year for the last 6 years, and this unsub's MO is he kidnaps nannies, and so he's been nicknamed the Nanny Killer, hence the episode Nanny Dearest. So he kidnaps nannies when they're watching the child that they're in charge of, and so he'll kidnap both of them, and within 24 hours he will return the child to either a hospital or a church, safe and sound, no harm whatsoever. They're completely fine. But the nannies, unfortunately, within about 2 weeks, and so on May 13th, they're found in a park bench, placed in a particular way, and they have been sexually assaulted, they have been burned with cigarettes, and they have been placed in scalding hot water in which they were drowned. So, not a very pleasant way to go, unfortunately, and so it's kind of very sad. So, this episode was also a little bit different from the others for the fact that they had one of this unsub's victims actually escaped and survived. And so, but the bad thing is that she was so traumatized by what happened, it's basically locked in her mind, and she's refusing to help whatsoever until another nanny and kid are kidnapped. Except this kid, it's already been past the 24 hours, it's 28 hours, and they have not found the kid. They've checked all hospitals, churches, anything like that, and the kid has not been found. And so they're worried, and so JJ and Morgan, they go to Seattle where this victim is, and they try to get her to talk about what happened, but she refuses to until the parents of the girl and employers of the nanny, they give a press conference, they speak, and seeing just how distraught and how broken down they are, that convinces this victim to come and try to do this new psychological interview thing. It's actually kind of cool, I have to admit. And they use that in order to unlock her memories from hidden inside her mind, and she's able to reveal details that help lead the team to finding the unsub. Now this episode really resonated with me for the fact that I used to be a nanny. I would babysit these kids on a regular basis. I would watch them when their parents were gone, and I would take care of them. I would cook for them. I would make sure they got to bed on time, give them baths. And so I understand that connection that forms between the caregiver and the child, and then the connection that forms between caregiver and, by caregiver I mean nanny and child, and then nanny and parents of the child. That I completely understand. I've been there. I know how that feels. And so we got to see, unfortunately, we got to see the unsub torturing one of the victims, and how he was torturing the victim is that he was threatening to harm the child, and he was saying that he would ask the nannies to say, tell him that they truly do not care about the child, that they are just pretending to care about the child for money, and if he says that, they'll be fine. But none of the nannies, I'm assuming the other nannies didn't say it, I know the one we got to see be tortured, she said that. So it's like I think people who have not been around children, they won't understand why this woman would allow herself to continue to be tortured, and why she wouldn't say yeah I don't care about the kid, and then be freed. They probably wouldn't understand that, but since I've been in her position, not as being tortured by a crazy unsub, But being a nanny, like I said before, I understand that bond that forms between the nanny and the child. In my case, it was 2 kids. But I know that I would never, ever admit to not caring about these kids, because I do. And I would hate to see anything bad happen to them. And so, like, I probably would have said the same thing. I would not have said that I did not care about them. And so I understood that. And so this episode really hit home in that sense, that it tugged at my protective instincts, my, for lack of a better word, my maternal instincts, and how afraid I was for the kid, and then how that, like, I understood those loving, caring, it doesn't matter what happens to me so long as the kid's safe feelings. Those I understood what the nanny was saying, like I said, because I've been there. So I'm not in that position of being kidnapped and tortured by an unsub, but I've been in the having kids that I care about situation. So this episode really did hit home and resonate. So it was a really difficult episode to watch. And I have to give the I didn't catch who directed the episode, but whoever did and was filming the camera, they did this one shot that kind of just, it's okay. So I've been desensitized from watching like Criminal Minds and CSI and Law and Order, from seeing a bunch of crime shows and violent shows. I've been desensitized to like a bunch of different stuff. So like seeing on TV, people getting killed on TV, okay, fine, whatever. Well, not, real life people, but, the characters being killed on TV, okay, whatever, I'm not so meh. But seeing kids, I just, even the thought of like a kid getting hurt, that just, I can't, it's hard for me to watch, it's hard for me to handle. And so there was one particular shot when the team realized that the unsub had gone past the 24-hour mark. And they're like, okay, well, why has this unsub not released? The girl's name was Phoebe. The little girl, her name was Phoebe. I'm wondering why Phoebe hadn't been released. And they're trying to think of these different options. And then one of the characters, Rossi, he says, well, perhaps we should think of the obvious, meaning that the unsub had killed Phoebe. And so after he said, think of the obvious, the scene cut to the unsub filling the tub with scalding hot water, and the tub is just floating with steam, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to kill the nanny. And then here he is carrying Phoebe and holding her over the tub, and I was just like, oh God, no, he did not just kill her. So that was just, he didn't. We find out that Phoebe reminded him so much of his sister, who had been he believed had been killed by his nanny. And from what we saw of that scene in the show, I believe that his nanny didn't kill her per se, but should be charged with like negligence or something, because it was definitely neglect. I mean, you do not leave a little kid alone in the bathtub like that. It was just like, it wasn't even like one of those like small bathtubs. I mean, it was a huge bathtub, and the little girl was so small, and the nanny left her alone in there just to go. So that got me really, really mad. But that obviously upset the unsub, that the fact that, so he believed that the nanny actually killed his sister, and because Phoebe resembled his sister, he wasn't going to harm her. So that was a relief that Phoebe was safe. But yeah, this episode was very, very difficult to watch, in the sense that, like, I understood what the nanny was feeling, and it was just, yeah, it definitely resonated, and it got me thinking, what would I do if I were in that situation? Would I say that I didn't care about the kids? Would I say that I did care? And so it really got me thinking, what would I do in that situation? And it really, really makes you think. And which is one of the things I really love about this series, is that it makes you think. And it's not just, oh, okay, no, this is what happens. No, you have to form your own opinions. And it's just, it's cool. I think it's cool. And one of my favorite things about this series is just how it takes things that you can just, like, they have episodes in later seasons where they take things that you don't think can happen, but they show it in a way that does, and then they take things from current events. And so, like, when we've been having a lot of recent, like, planes being shot down, planes crashing, and so they did an episode about a plane crashing, similar to what's been all over the news, but they did it in a way so that, okay, you have to, so they present what's going on in the real world, put on the television show, so it's like an art imitates life. So I do like how the show does that, and so it's one of the things that I think they did really well in this episode too. So thank you for watching, and like I said in a previous video, I'm getting close to finals, and so I know next week is dead week, and the week after that is finals, so these next 2 weeks I probably won't be filming an episode, a review, so please, if you don't see anything, I apologize, but I do have to focus on finals. But the weeks after, I very well might be putting up another video, so until then, if you have finals coming up, good luck on your finals. Study hard, really study, and I think my biggest advice is definitely study, but take like 5 minutes to just take a break. So like I would recommend maybe just having like a bunch of video playlists, like a playlist of different 5-minute videos, and just study for about 30 minutes, take a break, play a 5-minute video, and then come back and study for another half hour. Just take a break or find somewhere quiet for you to study, or just listen to music in the background as you're to focus. So just find some place comfortable for you to study, because finals are important. Okay, rant over. So good luck with your finals, study hard, and I shall see you guys next time I film a video.